Students, we're starting with a new chapter today, that is the Great Stone Face. Now, this chapter, it is about, sometimes how in we can see things, we notice, faces in the gifts of nature. And we try to wonder that what is it that nature is trying to tell us, right? So because of, erosion, you know what erosion is then? Wind blows and the rain falls, the water and the wind and everything. What happens? They change the shape of many things, and especially of the mountains and the hills, which are there, and the rocks, right? And we start thinking that yes, it is looking like something, it resembles something. And to our surprise, also, when we go to certain places, we notice there, if you've been to, like certain hill stations and all, and you find that these rocks or these hills, they look like something, right? So we have, like in Missouri, there is this place which looks like a camel's back, right? And it's called that, right? So even in Jaipur or Udaipur, I think so, I forget the place, there also there's that rock, it looks like that. Other places, so these rocks, because of wind, because of erosion, they've changed their shape, and us they appear to look like that. Now, when you look at a hill or you look at a mountain, and sometimes you feel as if you can see a face in it. Yes, I can see Agam and Shireen. How are you all? Shireen, how are you? Good. Yes, Agam, how are you? Oh, and right, so she's immediately turned off her video. Ma'am, you should see me. Okay, never mind. Yes. So right here, we see the face of people, or we try to wonder what is it that is being seen over here, and what is it here happening, right? So try to get an idea what message are you trying to give us. Now, this story is also like that. Do these predictions or these prophecies they come true? We think in nature में कोई sign दे रही है, nature में कुछ दिखा रही है, right? Like even along the river, on the river bed, if you happen to go over there, right, for your holiday, you go for a walk over there, you come across wood that has been shaped, with the passage of time, the water flowing. What happened? The wood or the branches which are there, it seems as if they have assumed a shape, right? And we want others to see कि अरे ये देखो कैसा shape हो गया उसका पानी के साथ. We call that driftwood also, right? And they're used here for exhibitions, they're used as decoration, and we see a face over there, or we see an image in there, we see a shape in that, and we want others also to see that shape. Now, this story is about that. It's about the great stone face. So the face on the stone. What is great about it? What is great about this stone face? Okay. Now, seen from a distance, hilltops and huge rocks seem to assume various shapes. Very true. They may resemble an animal or a human figure, right? So they, as I said, with the passage of time, because of the rain and the water, the wind, all this here. Some people attribute stories to these shapes, and we love to talk about them. We keep wondering, why did this shape here? And if something good happened in that year, let's see, this face, it brought good luck. If something bad happened because this face appeared, that is why it happened. So we love to associate things with those shapes. So people attribute stories to these shapes. Some stories come true, others don't. The great stone face is one such shape that reminds the inhabitants of the valley of a prophecy. What was it? Did it come true? What is a prophecy? Yes, prophecy is a prediction that somebody said it might happen in the future. Did it come true? Okay, so this is what the story is about. Now look at this hill over here. Do you see a face in it? Can you see a face? Can you see a face? Yes? Is it actually a face? Or is it like we keep on seeing some kind of faces there because of the, like from a distance, it might appear to be a face, isn't it? Yes. So yeah, you can see that face over there in that hilltop. Okay. One afternoon, when the sun was going down, a mother and a little boy sat at the door of the cottage talking about the great stone face. What was the great stone face? The face on the stone. They had only So they had only to lift their eyes, and there it was, plain to be seen through miles away, with the sunshine brightening all its features. So one afternoon, a mother and her son, they were sitting in their cottage and were talking about the great stone face. Because the people there in that village, they were really, like, of course, curious about that. They made stories about it. They love to talk about it. Whose face does it resemble? Looking at whose face does it remember? And yes, so they were talking about the great stone face. And what was the great stone face? Yes, let's see. What is a great stone face? The great stone face was a work of nature formed on the perpendicular side of a mountain by some immense rocks which had been thrown together so that when viewed at a proper distance, they resemble the features of a human face. All of you, please note down, what is the great stone face? It was not actually a face, but it was the rocks. It seemed they had come together and they made the appearance of a face. Clear? Right? So one side of the hill was there, which was very steep. It was higher above the other hills, and a group of rocks were there on its surface, and it seemed as if they looked like a human face. Was it man-made? No, it was not man-made. The stone face was the work of nature. How does nature work? As I've told you, the wind, the sun, the rain, all of them, right? And certain shapes of the rocks together. It seemed from a distance, it looked like a human face. If the spectator approached too near, he lost the outline of the enormous face and could only see a heap of gigantic rocks piled one upon another. But seen from a distance, the clouds clustering about it, the great stone face seemed positively to be alive. It was the belief of many people that the valley owed much of its fertility to the benign face that was continually beaming over it. Yes, so can you tell me, what is the great stone face? What was it? Was it human work? No. Whose work was it? Nature's work, right? Was the face visible when you went near? No. When was the face visible? See, I'm moving back and forth also. When you were at a distance. Who had made that face? The rocks had made the face. Okay? Yes. And with the clouds on top of it seemed the clouds, it seemed as if it was the hair on the face and the face below. It looked so real. And everybody, what was the good thought, or what did the people think about the stone face? Yes? What did he think? That the fertility of this valley. What is fertility? What is fertility? What happens when the valley is fertile? There's a lot of crops. Yes, people are happy, people are prosperous, and especially when their livelihoods depends upon nature. So they thought when this great stone face came, what happened? The valley became fertile, the people became happy because they had this benign face that was continually beaming over it. What's a benign face? Benign, kindness. And the kind face is there over the valley. What has it brought for the valley? Good fortune. Okay, have you understood this? Tell me yes or no. Is this clear, this paragraph? Yes. So what is a great stone face? Yes, it is a work of nature. It is a group of rocks which give the appearance of a face. What has that face brought for the village? Good luck. How has it brought good luck? In the form of making the valley has been fertile. And they have associated it. It's called superstition teller. They think because the face is there, that is why the valley has become fertile. It could be that already because of the location of the valley, it is going to be fertile. Okay. A mother and a little boy, as we said earlier, sat at the door of the cottage gazing at the great stone face and talking about it. The child's name was asked. Mother, said he, while the great face smiled on him, I wish that it could speak, for it looks so very kindly that its voice must indeed be pleasant. If I ever see a man in such a face, I should love him very much. See, the rocks had been arranged in such a way that they gave an appearance of very pleasing face. So little boy and his mother, look at them, they're sitting over here, and the boy is looking at the face. Yeah, they're looking at the face and they're talking about it. The boy likes the face. Yes, he says it's a very nice face. And if I could ever see someone with such a face, what would I do? I love that person. I really like that person who has such a very nice face. Okay? If an old prophecy should come to pass, answered his mother, we may see a man sometime with exactly such a face as that. What prophecy do you mean, dear mother? Eagerly inquired Ernst. Please tell me about it. What is a prophecy? Prophecy is a prediction. What did the people of the valley think? Because they could see a face in the distance, it's quite possible that a person with that face will also come. That was their prophecy. This is what the villagers might have said. And you know, when one person says something and the next generation also goes that, so people keep on believing that and think that it might happen, it might become true. Now, Ernst's mother is going to tell him the story about the prophecy. So his mother told him a story that her own mother had told him. So she saw it from her mother. When she herself was younger than little Ernst, that at some future day, a child should be born near here who was destined to become the greatest and noblest person of his time, and whose face in manhood should bear an exact resemblance to the great stone face. So what is the prophecy? That one day in the future, a man would be born and he would be so noble, he would be so great, and his face would be similar to the great stone face. Clear? Understood? What is the prophecy? कि अगर stone में face है, ऐसा face हमारे बीच में भी आएगा. Understood now? Yes. But many still had faith in this old prophecy. It's a very long, old prophecy, right? Many years ago, people thought about this, but others took it to be nothing but idle talk. What is idle talk? talk without any meaning. You know, just sitting and gossiping. They don't have anything to do, just talking idly. At all events, the great man of the prophecy had not yet appeared. Okay, so that man had not appeared with such, yes, meaningless talks, no purpose of their talks. So because till now, so many years had passed, no one with that face had been seen. That means no, but still people believed in that prophecy. Okay, right? Oh, mother, cried Ernst, clapping his hands above his head. I do hope that I shall live to see him. I hope I will be there to see his face because he loved that face. It looked so kind. And he wanted to see a person with such a kind face. His mother was an affectionate and thoughtful woman. It was proper, she thought, not to discourage the fanciful hopes of a little boy. So she said to him, perhaps you may. She was thoughtful. She understood, you know, she was quite a practical lady that if the face is not appeared so far, we don't know when we're going to see him in the future also. Right? But she says that perhaps you may. So the boy says, I want to live long enough to see that face. And the mother says that hope we might see it. And Ernst never forgot the story that his mother told him. It was always in his mind whenever he looked upon the great stone face. Whenever he looked at that, will I see that man? Will I see that person? He spent his childhood in the log cottage where he was born, was dutiful to his mother and helped her in many things, assisting her much with his little hands and more with his loving heart. So he was a nice boy. He helped his mother. He loved her a lot. And he spent his childhood in that little cottage. In this manner, from a happy yet often pensive child, he grew up to be a mild and quiet youth. So in his childhood, he was thoughtful. He used to think about the stone face. When will I see the stone face? Right? And then he grew up to be a sensible person. Ernst had no teacher, but the great stone face became one to him. He didn't have a teacher, but the stone face became one to him. When the work of the day was over, he would gaze at it for hours until he began to imagine that those vast features recognized him and gave him a smile of kindness and encouragement. Right. About this time, there went a rumor throughout the valley that the great man who was to bear resemblance to the great stone face had appeared at last. It seems that many years before, a young man had left the valley and settled at a distant seaport. Gathergold, which was his name, had set up as a shopkeeper and being sharp in business matters, had become so very rich that it would have taken him 100 years only to count his wealth. In time, he thought of his native valley and decided to go back there and end his days where he had been born. Okay. Let me see how many of you were listening. What is the great stone face? What is the great stone face? Tell me. Come on, raise your hand and I'm going to. The great stone face was a work of nature. Yeah, nature had made it. Yes, it's an artwork of nature. Very nice. Very good. Very good. Okay, okay, okay. Next question. Yeah, it's a group of rocks which resembles a face. It is the work of nature. What made the people happy there? That yes, what good luck had the great stone face brought the people? What was the good luck the stone face had brought the people? Yes? What was it? Who's going to give me the answer? I don't want the same people answering again and again. Let me have some new answers. What was the good luck the stone face had brought? Sadhika, Sia? What was it? That fertility in the village. Yes, so it had brought fertility to the village. Okay. What is, or what was the prophecy regarding the great stone face? What is the prophecy regarding the stone face? So there's a difference here. What was the good luck because of the stone face? And what is a prophecy? What does a prophecy mean? Yes? Something that people believe will happen in the future. A prediction for the future, a statement about the future, that is prophecy. What was the prophecy regarding the great stone face? What was the prophecy? That one day someone would be born with a face as the great stone face, and he would be the greatest, noblest person. Okay. Now, what was the rumor heard among the people of the valley? What was the rumor heard? That the stone face had appeared. There was someone like the stone face. What kind of person was he? What was his name? Gather gold was his name. And what did he do? Gathered gold only. Yes. And he was very good in business. And he became so rich in such a short time that it would take him so long to count the money. And what did this person decide to do? He decided that I'll go back to my village. Okay. Is this clear till here? Yes. Who's the little boy who loved to hear this story? Who's the little boy who loved to hear this story from his mother? Ernst. Yes, Ernst is a little boy. Ernst had been deeply stirred by the idea that the great man, the noble man, the man of prophecy, after so many ages of delay, was at length to be seen in his native valley, because he was waiting very eagerly. He wanted to see the man. He said that I hope he comes when I'm alive. I want to see that man. I want to meet him, because someone with such a kind and noble face. While the boy was still gazing up the valley one day and imagining that the great stone face returned his gaze, the noise of wheels was heard and a crowd of people cried, "Here comes the great Mr. Gathergold." A carriage drawn by 4 horses dashed around the turn of the road. Within it, thrust partly out of the window, appeared the face of an old man with yellow skin. "The very image of the great stone face," shouted the people. "Sure enough, the old prophecy is true. Here we have the great man at last." And what greatly puzzled Ernst, they seemed actually to believe that there was the likeness which they spoke of. He turned away sadly from the wrinkled shrewdness of that unpleasant face and gazed up the valley where the stone face seemed to say, "He will come, fear not, Ernst, the man will come." Yes. So what about the villagers? What happened one day? What happened in the village one day? Who came? The person they believed was the gold face. And how did he come? How did he come? He came with his horses and a carriage driven. And what about Ernst? Why was he unhappy to see the man? Why was he unhappy? Did he look kind like the person he saw in the stone face? Because when he looked at the stone face, what kind of a person did he think would have such a face? A person who was kind, who was pleasant. But when he looked at that man, did he see the kindness over there? No, he did not see the kindness over there. Right? And so he was disappointed. So was Ernst happy on seeing